Hello, receiving students, ATs, and receiving teachers.
Hello, receiving.
Thank you. You may be seated. Okay, for this morning, before we go on into our lesson, let's recap on what we learned from yesterday by doing two activities that is on the screen. We are to express each of these percentages as fractions in its simplest form. To the receiving teachers, you can write those two revision sums on the blackboard for your students to do. You are given 2 minutes to get them done. Having in mind it's from percentage to fraction. Okay, I presume we have all finished. I would like volunteers to come up to the front to show you're working out how you have changed 9% as a fraction and also 30% as a fraction, and make sure you come up with your simplified answer. To the receiving teacher, you can select your students to do the same. Can we have volunteers to come up and do your working out on the whiteboard? And then you explain what you have learned. We'll have Diana to do the first one. And Michael to do the second one. Quickly, so we're working out. Write it a bit bigger.
We all know that every percentage is over 100, so 9% equals 9 on 100. You cannot simplify 9 over 100 because 1 can remain from 100. So the simplest form of fraction is 9 on 100.
Okay, well done, Dinah. Let's give her 5 big claps. I hope we have the same answer as what she got on the blackboard, or the whiteboard, sorry. Let's listen to what Michael would say to the class.
30% is equals to 30 over 100. Okay, 30 over 100 times 1 over 100 equals 30 over 100.
He's got 30 over 100. Can we simplify this fraction? Yes. Yes, by what? 10. Okay, he said 10 himself. Always simplify the fraction if it's possible. Okay, his simplified fraction is 3/10. 30 divided by 10, and 10 into 100 goes 10. Put your hand up if you've got the 2 activities correct. Okay, well done. Michael, can you explain to us why did you multiply this again by 100 or 1 over 100? Maybe you have a reason for that.
Because percentage is always over 100.
Class, do we agree because percentage is always over 100? Okay, he's correct in saying that, but he has already had his 30 over 100. This 100 represents percentage. So the only way here to do is just what? Simplify the fraction. He already had it in a fraction form. There is no need for us to multiply with 1 over 100 again. Is that clear, 80s and receiving students? Yes. So, as we all know, this is a percentage. This sign represents this 100 here. So take that in or bear that in mind. Okay, we'll now go on with our lesson for this morning. We are going to brainstorm. I remember I told you about what the lesson would be for today. Fractions and ratio, that's the lesson topic. And I have my question as, what is ratio? Before I put that up, let's brainstorm. When you see the word ratio, what comes into your head? Ratio. Let's hear from some students. Receiving students, you can also give your definition to your teacher. 80s, when you see the word ratio, what do you think of? Can be one word, doesn't have to be a long story or a long definition. Okay, Dinah?
Quantities.
Quantities. Any more? Don't feel shy. Okay, my friend at the back first, seeing the mic is over there, you give your answer and you can pass the mic up.
Is to.
Is to.
Amounts.
Amounts. Let's have the last one. Okay, Michael.
Comparison.
Comparison. Okay, on the board we have some of the words that we have brainstormed that might define what ratio is. We have comparison, amounts, quantities, is to. On the screen we have the definition. Try to see if some of these words are there with the definition. Okay, what is ratio? A ratio is a comparison of numbers in a definite order. The numbers are expressed in the same units and are called the terms of the ratio. The ratio can be written in the form of A is to, that column that is being shown can be termed as this, is to. Or it can be written as a fraction, A over B. Compare also comes in there, quantities and also amounts. We will now have a look at one example where comparing comes in. Or before we go on to that, let's look at the three main rules or steps that we are to follow when we are writing ratios as fractions. To write ratios as fractions or fractions as ratio vice versa, form a common denominator. B, write the numerators as a ratio. And C, the formula that can be used in writing a ratio would be A is to B or A over B as a fraction. Have you finished? Here I have a story comparing quantities. The story reads, Trex ate 3/4 of a cake and Greg ate 1/4. Compare the quantity Greg ate to the quantity Trex ate. The amounts are given in what form? Fraction. Can we tell the difference? Can we compare which of the two fractions are big? Which of the two fractions are big and which one is small? We have 3/4 and we have 1/4. Let's have some answer. Natasha?
Three-quarter is bigger than 1/4.
Okay, 3/4 is bigger than 1/4. Any other answers? Do we all agree that 3/4 is bigger than 1/4? Yes. Maybe some of us cannot really see it when it's written as a fraction. We will now see it from the picture. Can you see where 3/4 is? Yes. 3/4 is where the arrow comes from. Whose name? Trex. And 1/4 is from Greg. Now we can compare from or by looking at the picture to see which one is big. So Natasha is correct in saying 3/4 is bigger than 1/4. Now, if we are to change that into ratio, it says if two fractions with the same denominator are compared, just compare the numerators. Look at the example that is on the screen. We have 3/4 is to 1/4 equals 3/4 times 4. I have made 4 as a common denominator is to 1/4 times 4. My 4's are cancelled out. I am left with the numerators. What are the numerators in these two fractions? 3 and 1. So that means our ratio now is 3:1. So you can see clearly now also or compare the pieces of cake, which of the two ate the bigger piece of the cake. So it is Trex with 3/4 and it clearly shows here also 3. You have one activity to do as an activity example. So you take out your books and I would like you to do this following the example that is already shown. Activity example, convert this fraction into ratio. And the fraction is 1/3. You are given 1 minute to get this complete. Okay, I think our 1 minute is up. Can we have a volunteer to come up and quickly show to the class how you have changed 1/3 into a ratio? Dinah? Where's the mic? Dinah, can you explain?
The question change, we have to convert this fraction into ratio. So if you add, you have to look for a fraction that would make 1/8 by adding 1/3. So fraction not included is 2/3. If you add these two fractions up, you'll get 1/3. So 1/3 is to 2/3 equals 1:2. That's the ratio of 1/3.
Is he correct with the ratio 1:2? Put your hand up if you got your ratio or answer as 1:2. Okay, very good. She has explained very clear from the front. If you are given one part of the fraction, you are to look for the fraction that is not included, a fraction that will make this as a whole. In this case, it is 2/3. When you add 2 plus 1, it would give you a whole number as 3/3. That's what she meant from her explanation. A third plus 2/3 would give you this whole fraction here. So seeing that 1/3 is given, she has put up here fraction not included is 2/3. 1/3 is to 2/3 equals, the rule is once you have the common denominator, you only look at the numerators and write them as your ratios. So in this case, Dinah is correct with the answer. I have also one example on the chart for you to follow when you are going through these two exercises to do. You have two 2/5 to be written as a ratio, and 3/8. 2 minutes to get this complete. Okay, let's go through the answers now. Can we have volunteers to come up to the front? Following the example, I would like you to show your working out on the whiteboard. Let's have Rachel. Can we have a boy? 2/5. Okay, Rachel, can you explain to the class how you got your answer?
The question is, convert the following fraction into ratio. The first, the fraction is not included is 3/5. Is 3/5, and 2/5 is to 3/5 is 2 is to 3.
Okay, thank you, Rachel. That's how she understood the method on how to work out the answer. Any other explanations? Is it correct in doing her working out as this one on the board? I know there were some people making faces, probably because of this. Fraction not included. Okay, this is how we're supposed to be laying out our working out. Fraction included 2/5, and the fraction that is not included, which is 3/5. Your fraction ratio now would be 2/5 is to 3/5, and The rule says if the denominators are common, we write our numerators as our ratio. Put your hand up if you have got 2:3 as your answer. Well done. Can we have a boy to come up and do the correction for the second one? 3/8 to be changed into a ratio. Habi, would you like to try? Don't feel scared. You explain to the class you're working out. Face down.
The denominators are same, so I put my answer 3/5.
I put my answer 3/5. Is he correct in saying that? What must he or must have he said? 3:5. Let's go through the answer and working out together on the board. Which of the two fractions are included? Which of the two? 3/5. Which of the two? Are we listening? The question is, which of the two fraction is included? 3/8. That's on the screen. We are to find the fraction that is not included, which is 5/8. If we are to add 3 and 5, we should come up with the whole number, which is 8/8. Denominators are the same. We take our numerators as our ratio. Put your hand up if you got your answer as 3:5. Correct? I understand we have our activity books with us. There's a lot of exercise inside the book. Take time to look through the exercise. The additional exercises are also in there. Get them complete, because by the end of the week, I should be collecting books for marking. Our key phrase for this lesson is fractions and ratios. Hello 80s, receiving students and receiving teachers. Thank you for your participation this morning.